Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Kesia. This is a very new channel and this is actually the very first video of this new channel. So if you're watching this video, then you are a A1 from day one already. But just getting to the story real quick because I don't want to draw this video out. You already seen the title. Y'all already know I'm going to be talking with you about my awakening experience, or as some others call it, you know, when your third eye is open. I wanted to come on and discuss that. Now, the reason I have decided this channel, blah, 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 let me get my words together. The reason I decided to start this channel is because I have another channel and it deals with makeup and hair and beauty and, you know, all of those things that, you know, ladies are into. But I do feel like I have a higher calling, but I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I think I'm just, you know, someone that could probably tell my story and people can learn from the bullshit I went through. Not that I'm like, oh, this guru and I have this special message or nothing like that. I just have been through a lot of life and I understand a lot. Like, I understand people and a lot of the things that people do. So, you know, with that, I feel like my stories, my experiences can help somebody. Okay, if not one person. And so I felt the need, like, if I got this other beauty fashion channel, like, girl, get you a channel that also means something, that, you know, that has a purpose. I'm here, I want my life to have a purpose, okay, other than just, I was here, I had a family, you know I mean something to my husband. I know I mean, you know, everything to my husband and my kids and my parents. But you know, I just have a bigger picture and want to do whatever I can to give back to the world. Okay, so getting all of that out of the way, because I don't want to ramble on. We'll jump right on into this story real quick. So first and foremost, I was a Christian all my life, born and raised, up in the church, Bible study every Wednesday. My mother became a pastor she became a minister, I think when I was in like middle school. And so, then I became like a preacher's kid. And I was a trouble teen. I got in a lot of trouble. I was very hard-headed. I was very rebellious and stubborn and just gonna do whatever the hell it was I wanted to do. And I did, okay? I did. So, after high school, I had a baby. And, of course, you know how that story goes most of the time. Me and my son's father, we did not stay together. The relationship was a very toxic relationship. And so I ended up moving back home with my parents. And I started going to, you know, school and just going on about my life. I ended up getting with a guy that I grew up with from childhood. Like as soon as he got out of prison. Yes. Oh yeah, my life is very interesting. So that's another story for another day. But I ended up getting into this relationship with this guy that I grew up with that had got out of prison, and we got this apartment together. And me, him, and my son, we moved into this apartment and was just gonna try to do the whole family thing. So as I'm there, like, I'm a people person. I'm very social. I'm very Southern. If you hadn't already picked up on my accent, I try to talk, you know, let me choose my words carefully because I'm not ashamed. But I do like to, you know, talk dignified at times and, you know, educated. But, so anyway, yeah, I got with this dude. That's what I was telling you guys, I'm social. So I'm meeting the neighbors, and there was these two guys that were friends, and they did music. And once I found out they did music and they found out that I sung all the time, because, you know, that's my church background. I was a choir director. Like, I was a choir director very young, like 10, of a adult choir. So, very, 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 like, interested in music. I feel like have some type of gift in music. But anyway, got with these guys, started kind of making songs, writing. And I say kinda because we did it at the house. Like, it wasn't like a studio. They had been to studios and, you know, been grinding way longer than I had. It was just kind of like something for me to do because I didn't work. I didn't have a job at the time. I didn't have to work. So I was chilling, had a lot of time on my hands. So I would make music with these dudes. Well, one of the guys in particular, he stood out to me. Like, he was just different from like any other people. And I was gonna say guys, but he really was just like a different type of person overall. He had like a different, not strange energy, but just like a mysterious energy. And I wanted to get to know him because, I don't know. I'm just this type of person. First, I'm an empath, and if you don't know what that is, I don't know what to say about it. But yeah. So, because I'm trying not to get off subject, y'all. So, me just wanting to get to, like, I'm the type of person, I feel things very intensely. That's kind of like basically what an empath is. Whether that's happiness, sadness, whether that's just listening to somebody's problems. Like, my emotions I'm very sensitive. I'm very intuitive, and that's not like always a good thing. I don't like taking on people's problems and energies and moods. Like, that's overwhelming. So, but anyway, I wanted to get to know the guy. So we began to talk more about, I think what it was when he found out I was a Christian, and him and his friend, they weren't. We would have a lot of conversations about belief, and I began to ask him a lot of questions because, I don't know, I just wanted to know. I'm a person who like to know other people's cultures. I don't know, like, for me to meet somebody that's from let me get my words together. For me to meet people in the United States that are not from the United States, I don't know, I gravitate towards them, like, if they're friendly, because I'm country, I'm from the South. Like, I haven't really been anywhere. Let's just keep it real. I've been to a lot of states on the East Coast, but I haven't been to a lot of the states just here in my own country. So anytime I can find someone friendly enough to, you know, want to talk to me from another country, like, I'm all into that. So, yeah, like, I was all into this, you know, hearing what they had to say about this different belief. They told me to watch this movie on YouTube called Zeitgeist. So I did. I checked it out. And honestly, it was the first time in life. And I've heard Jehovah's Witnesses story. I've heard Muslim story. I've heard Latter-day Saints. And I would listen because, as I just told you, I want to know. So I would listen. But after I watched Zeitgeist, it was just like this feeling I had, like, ooh, that made sense. Because you know, like, when, like, a hard truth, like, you don't know if it's true, but you get this feeling like, if that's true, like, so anyway, I was kind of just trying to do some investigation because I took my Christian faith walk, you know, however you want to say it, I took my relationship with Jesus very seriously. I was a sinner, of course. Nobody's perfect. You know, I was sinning. And I was a teenager, so, you know, I did a lot of sinning in my teenage years. But I took my relationship with God seriously. I prayed a lot. I talked to God a lot because I was going through so many things as a teen, trying to find myself and, just fucking up. That's what I was doing. Me and God had a lot of conversations, you know. So it was to the point, like, I remember telling my mom, she was asking, was we saying our prayers, like, when we would go to bed at night, because we were too old for her to be saying our prayers with us. So she was like, y'all be saying our prayers or whatever. And I had told her at one point in time, like, Mom, I'm not praying to God at this point. I'm not talking to God because I don't want to be praying to God and talking to God or asking God for anything when I know I've been sinning and doing things that are wrong. I guess I felt embarrassed, and I was like, I can't be asking for forgiveness for something I know I'm going to do again. And not like, oh, I know I'm going to do it again, but just in a sense, I know I'm going to fornicate again before I get married. This was at that time. So I'm like, why am I going to sit up and be playing with God? Like, oh, God, please forgive me. Crying out to the Lord. Because, every time you get into a effed up situation, that's when we need help the most, calling out the most. So I didn't want to play like that. I didn't want God mad at me, punishing me. So I was like, I'm not even going to do that. God knows my heart, and I'm just going to do the best I can. So, that I remember telling Mama that, because that's just how serious I took my relationship with God. So anyway, before, like I said, even though I felt like that after Zeitgeist, before I jumped onto that bandwagon, I was like, let me just see what else I can find. So I was asking the guys a whole bunch of questions, and they were trying their best to explain it to me, but because of the, I don't know, I'm like an investigator. So because of the level I'm on with just communicating and socializing with other people, especially when I'm digging for information, it's like, woo, they probably wanted to say, you need to go to school for, like, you need to go find out, like, go somewhere. Because I remember asking lots of questions. But that's normal, you know, when you begin your journey, you like, what the hell? What's going on? What is this? I can't believe, like, so many feelings and mixed emotions and confusion. So, I finally came across, what was it? The Nicene Council document. I don't know to this day if that's a factual event that took place, because what I have learned, if nothing else, through my awakening thus far, is you can't believe half of what you hear or see or anything. You just have to question everything and decide what resonates with you and feels right for you, and just go with that, honey, because different strokes for different folks, indeed. And nobody knows, okay? And that's not to offend anybody or anybody's belief. This is just my story and my experience. No lies here, no cap, as the young people say. So please do not argue with me about my experience, okay? But moving on. So I came across the Nicene Council, and I remember after I read that document, and I remember it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And when I read that document, my chest felt so heavy, and I remember crying. I can kind of still feel that feeling. I felt betrayed. I felt lost. I felt like I guess what I'm saying is I believed it. I really believed that those, I'm not going to go into it. For whoever want to check it out, you can probably Google it. But I did. I felt like, dang, I ain't never heard nothing like this before. Out of all of the different religious and perspectives about, you know, faith and stuff I had heard, that one kind of hit home. It hit different. It just did. So I was like, okay, all right then. And I remember that same night, y'all, this ain't no lie. I remember that same night while I was just like all of my feelings and just boo-hooing. I was like, look, God, I had a real my last real talk with Jesus, God the Father, on that level. And I remember telling God, like, listen, I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to do something that is against you, but you made me, you know me, and I got to see what this is about. Because, you know, if you're a Christian, like, to even question or second guess, like, it's all about faith. Like, you don't question the Bible. That's what I was always told. So I felt just so wrong for even just doing the research. So I did. I said one last prayer, just basically, you know, saying what I had to say to God about, let me do this. Like, asking permission, like, let me do this. And I guess what I was really asking him was forgiveness. I was basically saying my last prayer, asking God to forgive me for trying to see what was really up with, you know, spirituality, or, you know, what I'm, you know, just the whole thing. I don't even know the words to use for this. So I did that, and I remember that from that moment after I said my prayer, I felt like, you know, my Father God, he heard me. And, you know, I don't even know how to say it, but I'm like, my prayer was sent out. If God is up there, God heard me. And if he did hear me, I know he understands. If he's the God that I've always believed him to be, and he feel me, and he gonna let me go on this journey and see what I can find. And I have not turned back since. So, like, I haven't turned back since. I have not. And that was in 2000. That was in 2000. 2012. Yeah, I started hearing about it. No, it was probably actually 2011 when I first began to become woke. And by the time I was done being woke, me and my boyfriend that I had moved in with at first, we separated. I ended up dating a guy who had that was so mysterious. I ended up dating him, and he taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. I'm gonna say that relationship was toxic. Which the relationship that I was in prior to that, when I moved in with my boyfriend, that wasn't a toxic relationship. But it's just that when I came into all of this knowledge, and like, I couldn't be the same person I was when I met him. I wasn't. So it was kind of like that person was dead and I just had to move on. And so I ended up being with this guy because it's like, who can I turn to or run to? My parents don't believe in this shit I'm talking about. Like, nobody. I'm in the country, literally, y'all. Like, there are actual old ass slave cabins probably 10 miles up the road from my house. Seriously. So, oh, Chile, it just made me hot thinking about it. So, yeah, like, I just kind of felt alone, and I ain't had nobody to turn to but him. And his friend, it was my friend, so we all became real cool. It's my homeboy, so I don't want to keep saying like his friend. Like, we were all cool, but me and him, of course, like I said, got in a relationship, and we shouldn't have gotten that relationship. It was not meant. I definitely felt like it was meant for me to meet both of them, and I felt like it was meant for me to probably even get closer to him than the other guy, because I just liked the way he explained it, and he broke it down so much easier for me. And he was patient with me, and he tried everything he could to lead me and guide me, from this. How can I say it? Like, don't be boxed in. You know what I'm saying? I did denounce Christ, I think a year later, probably like 2012. Like, I officially was done with Christianity. I wasn't going to church anymore. Me and my mom fell out big time, of course, because she's a pastor. I remember her calling me the Antichrist. I remember her rebuking me. It was so hard. But one thing about it, they really, really gave me strength, is when I first met old buddy, when I first met the guy that was teaching me all of this stuff, my grandmother, my dad's mom, she was really, 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 really heavy set, very, very overweight, and obesity just runs on that side of the family. And so, we all knew that. And she was big. Okay, my bad, my camera had cut off. But yeah, I remember my grandmother being overweight and everything, and so she fell. And when she fell, it was like things just went downhill from there. And she ended up going to the hospital, like the local hospital. They transferred her to a hospital that was like 4 hours away. And then she did end up coming, excuse me, to a hospital that was closer. But the whole thing is, for her to fall, being heavy like that, it was detrimental. I don't know the details of the situation because I wasn't a teenager. I think I was like 21. But I just, at that point in life, me and her, we stayed in two different states. We weren't like extra. We was probably like maybe 45 minutes to an hour apart from each other. But I was just kind of like doing my own thing. I had, like I said, all this other stuff going on. So I was a little bit distant from my entire family anyway. And me and my grandma hadn't been that close at that time. But of course, that's my grandma. I still got a lot of love for her. And I went to see her in the hospital. And I remember just looking at her. I was like, I knew she wasn't going to come home. I knew she wouldn't come home. At that time, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't even want to think about, the thoughts were coming. It wasn't like I sat there and thought about it. The thoughts were coming. And I was just like trying to block them out. But I knew it. and she got worse and worse. It was like blood clots, and I don't know, like I said, all the details, but I remember she passed. And the day she passed, not the day she passed, the day of her funeral was actually, I'll never forget, this is when I broke up with the guy that I moved in with, because it was kind of like so much going on. It was like I had transitioned from being the person he met to another person. Now I got to deal with my grandma's passing, and the things that I was learning, it included, death. And how can I break it down? I don't know, just all the stuff I was learning, it just was so spiritual, the physical, the spiritual side, the soul, the dimensions, and it's a lot that comes with that. Whatever you believe, that's levels to being woke, honey. And I ain't trying to run nobody off, but I'm just saying. So long story short, I feel like when that happened, it was just kind of like the icing on the cake for me. It sealed the deal, and I kept it moving. I just started to really grow into the person that I've become now. I really got a story. Like, even my dog's snoring so loud. I think he's been snoring about 10, 15 minutes too, but I'm really just now paying attention. Now I'm like, you've been snoring, so yeah, I'm sorry. But I just felt like when my grandmother passed, okay, what was so strange too, when my grandma passed, the guy that the guy ended up dating, his grandfather had passed the year before, and his friend's grandfather had passed in between our grandparents passing. And that was so odd to me, because they were two dudes, and their grandpas passed, and of course I'm a female, and my grandmother passed. And it was actually like, it was both of their mom's dad, and it was my dad's mom. So it was just so flipped. Like, I don't know, I just felt like at that time in life, for whatever reason, we were supposed to come together, like meet each other at least, and have the discussions we did. And which brings me back to what I was saying. I don't think me and him was ever supposed to enter a relationship, but I don't know, I was just so drawn to what he was teaching me. And like I was just explaining to y'all, like how everything was just going, I was like, okay, it's something to this. And we were together about 2 years, and then we did separate. I learned a lot from him. I appreciate, still to this day, beating him. And I'm glad that I listened. I'm glad that, I ain't gonna say all of those things that happened, because I feel like a lot of shit happened that didn't have to, of course, a lot of drama. But I'm grateful for the meet and the experience and what I gained from that, because it was life-changing. Like, it was truly, truly life-changing for me. And I have so many more other stories about it, but when it comes down to just kind of close that off, I am still growing spiritually. That what he put me on was only a peep. You know what I'm saying? Like a peep, like how somebody peeping out the window being nosy. It was only a peep into the world of this. Like, I'm saying of this, but it was only a peep into spirituality. That's what it was. And I have grown so much from then. I have learned so much more. Actually, the things that he taught me, I'm glad he taught me those things. They helped me become more self-aware. But I don't even really go or live like by that anymore, because I've raised and elevated to a more meaningful and purposeful level. So I don't know, y'all. I just felt the need, like I said, to start a new channel, to start, living in my truth, and not just being a pretty face, but, actually being out here, doing something that means something. I want to do that. So I hope y'all learned something from this video. Y'all comment below, if you want to, subscribe if you want to. And y'all just stay tuned, because I got more videos coming, more story times, more things to say, more opinions and all that shit. And I hope to see you. I hope to see you then. So until next time, bye.